All right, let's get a quick update on this testing a wiring harness. What I'm going to do, I'm about to start this up with my wiring harness and my PCM ECU, but hooked up the fuel system just like before all my other videos. This is the return line, this is the feed line. It's going to go down, goes to a pre-filter down there, goes to, this is one of those Corvette filters. We're trying this right now without the return line. Post filter, and then it comes up, comes over to here, and then it goes right into a fitting on the factory 6.1 fuel rail. So I'm testing the fuel injectors, and this engine's been sitting for about 6 months, but if you can hear the click, here's my battery, here's my connector, here's my on-off switch. So when I click this, listen. Let's get it on there. Hear it clicking? That one's clicking. That one's clicking. Let's go to this one. So this has just been sitting 6 months or less. But since then, listen to this. No click. So remember, like my other video, we get something to tap it. Be really easy on this. My other video, we just use a screwdriver. We're just gonna tap this lightly. Plug it back in. And then hit the switch. All right, still not clicking, so then we tap it again. That way we don't have to take the whole thing out. And then you just keep doing it lightly until you hear this click. Hear that? It wasn't clicking and now it's clicking. So here's the last one on this side. So remember, if your engine won't start, you gotta make sure your injectors are firing. Let's try this one. No clicking, so let's tap on it. That's all it takes, as long as hasn't been down for like years and years where that's all gummy inside, because you can smell the rails. So we're gonna tap this. Now you don't want to beat on it, you just want to shock it a little bit, get that pintle released. And let's try it. Still not clicking, so that means it's pretty gummy. Let's tap it again. Don't want to break it. Let's get that on there. Click it again. Hear that? Okay, so I'm going to do the other side the same way. Make sure they all click. Because if I had the fuel rails out and had my battery hooked up, you'd actually see the spray pattern, okay, from the little pintle and the injector holes. So I'm going to do the other side. And all right, here we go, guys. We're going to hit the switch. Turn on my start button here. You can hear the handshake. Throttle body opens. Fuel pump relay primes. Injectors fire. And we're going to hit the starter switch here. And I also have to push this button at the same time for the start signal for the yellow wire from my other video, okay? And the yellow wire looks like it goes to pin, I don't know if you can see that there. Okay, so that's, is that 25? Okay, so that's 29. The yellow wire is pin 30. It gives you your start signal telling the PCM you're trying to fire it up. So let's hit this button. Where are we here? Let's zoom out a little bit. We're gonna hit this button. Try to hit the start button at the same time. I need to get my tripod out, guys. All right, so we're gonna push this, and I'm gonna start this. Push my start button right there. Let's hit it. Okay, my PCM's off. His PCM is on. Everything's hooked up the same way. Let's hit the master, hit the ignition, hit my start button, and let's see if this thing runs. Gonna push my button. All right, so let's see if we can push this button, hold the camera, and also push the start button. Sorry guys, we have two hands here. Here it goes. Okay, his PCM runs. Here's his VIN number. It's off an 05 Durango. He says no skim. So didn't have to remove that with HP tuners, but it's running the engine, okay? So now let's try his wiring harness. Okay guys, here is his harness. After I rewired everything. Here's the engine harness. I've got some grounds. This white connector, black connector. Remember, we're using my orange connector that comes off the engine harness. We've got his gas pedal, his hot wire, ODB2 I wired in, and a couple relays I hooked up here. One's an ASD, and one's a fuel pump relay, which is going to go to that for the fuel pump. Alright, so let's strip mine off, put his on, and see if it runs. Alright, here's his wiring harness. Gonna have to hook up the fuel pump to that. Have to go get a male terminal. The yellow wire is his start switch, which is going to my button. My handshake happens when I turn on ignition. You can hear it. All right, so let me get this fuel pump wire hooked up and let's see if it fires up. Okay, here we go. This is his wiring. I've got crimp-ons on all my ends now. Fuel pump. This is my key on wire. This goes to here. This is my fuel pump wire coming from the blue fuel pump relay. Got a marked fuel and ASD. So this is my start wire, which comes from the ignition, which is my button. So everything is hooked up. Even have my reader on there so I can see when I push that red button that the start signal came up. But it's on my phone right now, so I can't show it to you because I'm taking this video with the phone. So let's get this started. Ignition. This is my red button. And I have to hit the starter button at the same time. So let's hit this. Hit this. Hit my starter. Okay, here's my harness I pulled off. Here's his harness. And I'm checking all the connectors to make sure everything matches up. All right, here we go. His wiring, engine wiring harness, his quick harness, his computer. Let's see what happens. This thing runs. Oh. Done. Handshake. I gotta push my button here for it to start, and also push my starter button down here, which goes right to the starter. So let's push this and push this. Good enough for me, it runs. So he was saying it wasn't starting up, but right now it's starting, where it looks like you can do some more troubleshooting from here, but for me to let it run longer, I've got to hook some coolant hoses up and fill it back up, but I'm not willing to do that right now because this thing's just kind of prepped for the winter. So now that I know it just starts, let's hit it one more time. Oh, I need to check the battery voltage too to see if it's charging once it's started. All right, so let's watch that. 1262, 1270, 1269. All right, let's try to push this button again. Push the starter button. Right there. Going back in the box and going back out of state. So we'll put this up on a YouTube video as part 3 or part 4, troubleshooting a fellow YouTuber's harness, because it runs. So all I do is straighten up the wiring a little bit. Maybe his injectors were stuck, but everything's set up correctly with this PCM, the wiring, his engine harness. So good luck. Hope to get that CUDA see it on the road soon with your videos, guy. So I'm gonna send this back to you and move on to the next set of videos.